Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Money Flow weekly market newsletter review and forecast for Sunday, April 12th, 2026. I'm your host, Dr. BJ Love, and I'll be bringing you this week's update here at Money Flow. We depend on market tested indicators and methods that helps us to navigate these markets with certainty, clarity, and confidence. Now, global markets extended gains for a second consecutive week. The week was defined by collapsing energy prices midweek and recording record setting momentum in transportation and semiconductors. Now, equities were strong, had a strong follow through. Major averages built on their strongest weekly performance since early November, with momentum accelerating midweek. Now, the Dow Jones Industrial surged more than 1,300 points in a single session, making its strongest day in nearly a year. Now, transportation equities led leadership. The Dow Jones Transportation Index reached a new all-time high. We're going to look at some of those transportation stocks here later on in the session. And to continue, technology outperformed with semiconductors dominating gains. Now, market breadth remained broadly positive across the sessions, confirming institutional participation rather than narrow leadership. Remember now that the market breadth is the heartbeat of the market. Now, the markets responded aggressively to evolving geopolitical developments. Reports of a U.S. Iran ceasefire framework tied to political stabilization of the Strait of Hormuz. Now, additional easing sentiment supported by reports of diplomatic engagement between Israel and Lebanon. Now, the VIX, aka the scare uh, VIX, the scare, what we call the scare variation. Now, compression amid risk expansion, it has moved down below that threshold of 20. And then, as you know, as we reiterate every time we distribute a broadcast here, that if the VIX is above 20, stocks tend to move down. If the VIX is below 20, we have a situation where stocks tend to grind higher, and that is what we have been witnessing here so far. Now, volatility drifted lower despite large intraday equity moves. Now, commodities, energy, volatility drives a macro narrative. Crude oil is right now at around $97.86 per barrel. Midweek collapses of about 15%, followed by stabilization into the weekend. Now, energy remains the most geopolitical sensitive asset class. While gold right now has a mild decline as a safe haven. Demand temporarily has eased. We're going to look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin has been starting to show some signs of a bottom, and we're going to look at it closely here as we continue in the broadcast. Confirmation of a ceasefire framework stabilizes energy markets. Continued decline in volatility supports equity. Multiple expansion and leadership persists in semiconductors and transportation, as we forestated. Now, the key takeaways: the markets are currently trading increasingly sensitive to the headline reversals. Today there's a headline, the market goes up. Tomorrow there's a headline, the market goes down. So, what we tend to anchor ourselves on is what is the long term trend at the particular time. And right now, as we will see when we go into these charts, that we are still in a long-term upward trend. Now, always remember volatility creates opportunity, but only for those who are prepared. And this is what we do here at the Money Flow newsletter broadcast. We want you to be prepared, okay, rather than react to the whipsaws that we have been seeing lately in the market. Now, remember that this particular broadcast is prepared for client distribution, those clients of the Money Flow newsletter. It is not investment advice. It's for educational purposes only. Now let's move into these charts. Now, as you can see, I'm going to go ahead and divide the S&P 500, the Dow Jones Industrial Average, the NASDAQ, and the small cap Russell. So to magnify each one of these indice charts, we can see that we're still in the green background. If you've been with us for a while, you know that we have a proprietary indicator that lets us know when a bear market occurs. And that has not been the case here since last year. So for about a year, we've been up, and we've had a green background. Now, we did have a downward move here for about 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks. And we did get confirming indication from our MACD. However, it wasn't sustained enough. We only remained below our threshold there, or our moving average, what we call the line in the sand. If you are below a falling moving average, obviously the moving average was not falling. The price bar, which is calculated on this chart weekly, was 1 week below that moving average, and the next week it moved up above that moving average and has been moving up above it for the next 2 weeks, causing our confirming MACD to move upward. Has not turned positive yet, but given us a very good sign that this downturn has been reversed as of this particular broadcast. Now we're going to move on to the Dow Jones Industrial Average. We see the same pattern. He came down. He stayed below that moving average for a couple of weeks, and then suddenly moved back above that threshold that we used as our line in the sand. The background did not change from green to red. However, so we remain disciplined and stayed in the market for that particular time, just to see it, reverse and move up above both of our moving averages, the 10 and the 40. And you can see right here in our MACD that it has begun to stabilize. Looks like it's starting to move up again and give us a positive signal to go all in. But right now, we just remain disciplined because we have a green background, and we still officially in a long-term uptrend. That is the Dow Jones Industrial. We're going to move on to the NASDAQ. As you can see, the same pattern. The MACD confirming indicator is starting to move in the positive direction, and now we're back above both moving averages, and this is indicative of a long-term uptrend, or what we would call a bear correction. Now with the Russell, it's even more pronounced. The small caps did have, a 3-week downturn, but now we have a 3-week upturn, and we'll probably, and looks like we're near the all-time highs right now, and we're going to continue to wait, watch, and see how this turns out. But right now, we are still in a long-term, according to the indices that we follow, we are still in a term of trend. Now, let's see what stocks or sectors that have been leading. And we're going to go to, we look at oil, and oil pull back here. And let's see here. We're going to go to our daily chart, since we looked at the weekly chart. And what we like to see here at the Money Flow newsletter, that when our daily and our weekly are moving in the same direction, that is a strong signal to be in that particular sector or that particular equity for maximum profit. So we're going to go here, and we're going to look at oil right now. And we're in oil, and this is our weekly. You see we had a major pullback. It got up to almost $120 a barrel and then pulled back. And right now we seem to be stabilizing on the weekly chart. However, on the daily chart, we have been down, maybe 4 days in a row. We don't see any indication to add to our position in oil, even though one of the major stocks that we hold is PBR, Petro Brasilio, PBR. It has been on a tear, and looks like ever since we got the signal in November when it was $16, we have followed it up all the way to a high today, all-time high of $22. Way to go, Petro Brasilio. That is our oil stock. And let's see, where are we now? We want to look at gold. That's oil. We want to look at gold on a daily basis. It seems to be trending on a weekly basis. Let's go back and go look at it on a weekly, and it's been coming down. That is the GLD. We want to look at actual gold. Actual gold price has been $48.05 per ounce. And as we see on a weekly basis, it's fall. However, this fall has been taking a place in the environment of a rising weekly moving average. And anytime we have a price that is rising above a weekly moving average, that is the indication to stay with that. It's just a minor pullback. And as you can see, gold has just been trending as we look at the daily. So we're going to look at silver. Again, same type pattern. If we go to the weekly, we can see that it has what we call a bull flag, having a high of 121, now coming down to 75, and but the structure remains strong. Okay, we looked at, and then we're going to look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin starting to show a bottom here on the weekly, and on the daily, it is really looking like it is stabilized and could move higher. So we will wait, watch, and see what the movement is in Bitcoin. So right now we're going to leave it at that. And as we usually in the program, we say every day and every way we get better and better. Every day and every way we grow more prosperous, successful, and victorious. And God's love continues to surround us, enfold us, and enwraps us. And we go forth in perfect peace and ever increasing prosperity. God bless. All the best from the whole team here at the Money Flow Market Forecast and Review.